Hello, coffee makers, not coffee takers. He is the master of cyber farms, Alfredzo B. Nash Jr., and I am the people's chief, Dr. Joseph J. Burt Miller Jr. We are your hosts for the Cyber Coffee Hour. Alfredzo and I hail from Mount Vernon, New York, and we are excited to share our experiences and stories along with those of our incredible guests. Our mission is to impart knowledge, enhance understanding, and cultivate a sense of community in the expansive world of cyberspace. So for today's show, we're going to do a little bit different here as we get ready to start our season 2 for the Cyber Coffee Hour. With this episode, it's going to take some time to actually reflect and just talk about the things that we've experienced from season 1, what some of the highlights, what we enjoyed. We'll even get into some of the things that we're looking forward to coming up with season 2, and also some special news we want to share before we close out. We'll in the business they call that a tease, so we'll leave that to the end. But Alfredo, how you doing, sir? It's been a little while.
Hey, it's been a little bit, man. I'm okay, a little tired, but I'm getting back to it, getting back on with you. Had a little bit of a project at my property, working on tracking down what's called a holly breeder. So I just found out everything I need to know about holly trees, and
Holly trees,
yes,
okay.
sir. It was a little bit of an adventure because I'm doing the maintenance and stuff still on the side. And I come to find out that I inherited my property from a world-renowned holly breeder named Bill Cool. So I went on a grand
Okay.
adventure. Yeah, I went on a grand adventure to track this gentleman down, and he schooled me, man. He schooled me about everything in my yard, all the holly treatment plans, how to cultivate them. It was a real chill experience, and that was the start of my adventure. Last time we talked too, I came back from a career expo with DHS, so there's a little bit of transition in my career right now, and I witnessed 20,000 folks out there. And it's crazy how much time went by, but it was like 20,000 folks out there trying to get opportunity with them. So that was a little exhausting.
Wow.
Since then, what else has happened? I finished my certificate, like I said to you, so that led to the previous story of doing stuff in my yard and working on my green thumb. And that's
Yeah.
it, really. I mean, really
So,
just
so
really
keeping
just.
up with the gardening, I see.
Yes, sir. I'm down the rabbit hole. Pun intended. It's growing on me. Pun intended too. Like,
Uh,
yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I'm doing a bunch of volunteering now out here too in my area. Found another tribe of plant folks cultivating, showing cut flowers. So yeah, it's definitely become a interest in the following. I would say I'm hooked now.
yeah. No, that's pretty cool, man. That's what's up. No, yeah, for me, man, it's I've been kind of just maintaining the grind. Keeping up with my study hall. We have the community has been growing more and more. I'm definitely thankful for the partnership I have with recently just partnered with the 502 project. So work with the folks from there. Actually, one of the members that got me onto it, that kind of made it happen. We went to school together at St. Leo University while studying while we're studying cybersecurity. Um, she was able to just make the intros happen, and and then now we're in this great partnership. We just had one of the members from the 502 speak at the study hall earlier this week, and I'll be doing return the favor. I'll be going to their server next week and sharing
Nice.
the history of the study hall with those, and just really seeing a great opportunity. I really appreciate what they're doing. As far as, I mean, the main thing is just about cybersecurity education, just helping those trying to try to find their way, find their path. So when it comes to and we're looking at the education piece of trying to make it cybersecurity with, studying for certs, doing labs, things of that nature. We both have a common interest and goal. So it just made a lot of sense that we had this partnership. So it's really been working well. And, just look forward to even more, opportunities like this for to really expand and grow. And again, ultimately for those who are receiving this, benefiting from this, students, in cohorts, it gives to, like I said, the benefit from this type of thing, to be able to have a space where they could come and learn. So that way they can, whether they're just getting started in cyber or they're, cross-trained trying to maybe get that promotion, whatever the case is, to know that, coming to the study hall along with the 502 project is a great space to learn and really grow. So that's something that's been keeping me busy.
Wait, hold on. So do me a favor for our listeners too, because
Yeah.
catch me up as well. What is the 502 project? What is that? What do they do specific to your interest in the
Y-
study?
Yeah, so the 502 project, it's a group from University of South Florida. Um, one of the main uh I guess leaders per se, Dr. Fisk. How would I don't want to mess up his name. But no, but basically what they do, yeah, they help in I think they're working with like high school students, try getting them immersed in, like I said, cybersecurity. You know, try and get themselves educated when it comes to cybersecurity. So they help them doing like they do stuff like CTFs, do like different hacking labs, teaching kids how to ethically hack, and they have all different sort of events that they host and try to, like I said, to make sure to have that space for like young students as they're learning, you know, getting their first glimpse of cybersecurity, and to be
Nice.
able to work with different, like I said, elements, especially I said, you know, as I mentioned, we're doing like, you know, hacking events, capture the flag, things of that nature. And the reason that we got together, because one of the elements was that they didn't necessarily have like a study hall, or they like what I was doing with my study hall on Discord, and they just saw an opportunity that we could really fuse and help each other. So so that's how we kind of came about. But yeah, if you check them out, they have their website, biz502project.org.
Yeah, I'm checking
And
them
I'm
out
sorry,
now.
I'm kind of unprepared in that regard, but I can get the correction in the show notes after this. But it's either .org or .com, one of them.
It's .org. I just caught it.
It's .org.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, .org.
Yeah. So yeah, those listening, I'll share all the details. I'm kind of freestyling right now. But no, yeah, I mean, I think what they're doing is really great. I really love their mission and vision, and really they have a priority. Just really want to make sure that folks are they are very they take it very seriously with securities. Like even with their Discord server is very locked down. You know, they're very protective of, because they know they have young students in their servers, so they do make sure they have a lot of security elements or procedures that they have in place, even going as far as making sure that parents are notified. You know, they have to sign off on things like that when they join. So yeah,
Nice.
they take it very seriously. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, I've been working with them for quite a bit over the summer, and you know, just having these conversations, meetings, and we're able to just slowly but surely just having that partnership continue to grow. So it's probably one of the biggest things that's, like I said, has been kind of keeping me busy during this time off. But outside of that, you know, also just kind of maintaining, still outside, going hitting up the gym and stuff like that, doing house projects, all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, man, just staying busy. Continually getting books. What is it called when I know there's a term when you buy someone who like just continually buys books, but
Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
may
So
not
there's
even read all of them, but you see a book, you got to buy it.
yeah,
There's a term for it.
we got book hoarders, which I'm kind of book hoarders. You get book joy, and there's a to be read list. So you get like a to be read pile. You just keep
But that,
piling up the books.
but there was like a scientific name. I know
Oh,
I
really?
found
Don't
it
tell me
before.
that. Don't tell me.
Yeah, it's or is it like bibliophile or
Yes, I have heard that.
okay?
Bibliophile.
I think
Yes, I
that's what
have
it
heard
is.
that one.
So yeah,
Bibliophile.
that's me.
Oh yeah,
So
we share that. We share that for sure.
yeah,
So what are you reading? Well, first we also forgot we're coming back off of the coffee table talk. Remember we did that. So we did the coffee table. I
yes,
almost forgot. We
yeah,
did the coffee table talk, and it was almost like it was refreshing because it was a break for us. But now we kind of got to spin back up.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, yeah, I think it is great to do. Like I said, to have those type of engagements, to really able to just be able to kind of be in the passenger seat, if you will.
Yeah,
But yeah, it is different when you're hosting, you're running things. I mean, you know how we do, man. We do our notes, we do our prep and everything like that. So it's definitely different when
We
you're
have to
just a
do it. Just
passenger. All you
relax.
gotta do is just show up, as a passenger. So
It
as
was
a
kind of a
guest,
breath of fresh air for me
yeah,
to kind of finally relax. So
yeah.
back to the bibliophile, right? So this is my recent to be read pile. I have done nothing of it. So I'll just take a quick look. Right now, I have Convergence. That's on the list. Generative AI and Amazon.
Mm,
Hacks and Leaks, which I found this on another podcast. I can't remember the name now. Hacks and Leaks came from another podcast. Oh, I think it was either Authentic Eights podcast. It was one of the Intel podcasts, which a gentleman, Michael Lee, wrote this. And I'm purposely leaving it here because as soon as I pick it up, I know I'm not going to be able to put it down.
right.
And then upstairs, so in my kitchen, I'm reading this Division series. It's a 3-part series by Thomas Parrott. I'm on the last part of the series. So I'm probably I actually donated the first 2 books so I wouldn't keep reading them.
Yeah.
And then I picked up GovCon launch. That's got to finish that. And there's one more. It's probably upstairs. I know it's a garden book, so that's probably why I forgot it. But there's a garden book somewhere up there in my pile upstairs that also I'm shelving it because if I start reading, I'm not going to finish the other books.
Right. Right. Now,
Well, it's called. It's actually on my shelf. It's called Bringing Hope Home. There's a
bring on.
reading club. By a guy named Doug Tomey who wrote the book on literally like how we should sustain our ecosystems,
Yeah.
do better in our replacing our front yards. I think I read the first chapter and I was like, hold up, I gotta put this down because I'm not gonna finish the other stuff I started.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. Yeah, I mean, I'll work on that list someday.
Yeah, yes, it's something.
But let's get to it, man. So yeah, so we finished season 1. Congrats to you, sir.
Yeah, congrats, ditto,
We got
ditto.
to pat each other on on our backs. But no, just thinking about season 1. I mean, what are your thoughts just from how we got started to where we are now? Like, what are some of your takeaways from
Oh my god.
season 1 in the books?
So season 1, I think from our beta episodes to our last episode with Kenneth Ellington, I think we kind of do have to pat ourselves in the back because we taught ourselves this podcast industry. Like we had anxiety. Remember how we were like, oh, how do we start? What's the format? We changed the format 3 times and we were successful. We had a multitude of guests inside and outside of cyber. So that was kind of like refreshing and humble, right?
Yeah.
Some of the guests gave us YouTube advice, email advice. We did our formation thing. So now we're official, right? We're still playing that book of business out. And we're now able to access folks and have folks access us, which is very humbling for me too. Like they can reach out to us and we can set up additional episodes. We can consult for them. We can, reach out to another podcast, which we just talked about. So for me, from the beta episode, we had no clue what we were doing. And now we're kind of like masters of the craft, right? We're kind of teaching ourselves the industry's teaching us and humbling us. And we had some amazing guests. Like I never thought we'd talk to half of the people we talked to already.
Yeah, no, I share the same sentiments. I don't know if I was go as far to say I'm a master of it yet. I feel I'm still learning, but definitely from the very first episode to where and as we've gone on, definitely learned that we made adjustments. I think the biggest thing I'd say one takeaway was, which I think was very helpful to us, is that we were open to feedback.
Yeah,
So as we
absolutely.
learn from different guests off air, they would just share some insights and to not take it as a slight or nothing like that, but just as far as this is how you could make it better. So if someone's offering to give you that sort of feedback, take it.
Yeah,
Don't think of it
absolutely.
as a slight or anything like that.
And let me
So
stand corrected. I don't want to say a master of the podcast. I'm saying a master of getting started for like getting a podcast started. Just starting. Yeah, not the
yeah.
whole industry. This is no
Oh
way.
yeah. Because I don't want to oversell. Like
No,
I don't think we're
absolutely.
massive.
No. So let's correct that. Just getting started from 2 years ago. It's been 2 years. 2 years just
At
disappeared.
least, yeah.
And we had the anxiety, right? We did the betas and we got it off the ground, but there was still that like ramp up. So we mastered that startup phase. Like, let's just put it that way. That startup phase, we're really in it now, and now we can take on the remaining portions of the industry with some kind of proficiency. Like, the industry's massive too, right? We learned that. We learned about other folks' podcasts, like you said, the feedback, the different integrations, like Riverside and all the stuff that we run on. That was feedback from our guests and other podcasters, right? So yeah, I'm just saying we mastered that ramp up into starting a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, just overall, man. I'm always, always learning. There's always something new to learn, how you can improve and get better. So, I mean, I just taking it with that, just having that open mindset, be able to just take, feedback, criticism, whatever it is from anyone, and be able to just incorporate that, just see how we can use different things just to make the podcast, the show better, and and also we're trying to make it better for those listening, those who are listening to us. We're trying to put out, a better product. So we're continually working and learning as we go.
And that says a lot too, because before the podcast, so we have aside of this for our listeners, we have a business coach that we're trying to lock in, and they taught us product market fit. To your point, I didn't know we had a product. Like, remember we was talking about, like, I didn't know podcasts were a product. I didn't know we were putting out content, becoming content creators like that. Like, so having an actual product now and seeing that it's real, that we could touch and enhance and dial back and take feedback and insights from is real. I didn't, I wasn't as, I won't say I was hesitant, but I wasn't aware of the product we would create and the content that we would have right now. So I'm very humbled by that.
So what? So as you think about season one, what were some of your favorite episodes?
So
Looking back,
I'm gonna try my best to work backwards from. So one episode that really stood out for me, even catching up and going back to the first season a couple times, I think it was Mim's episode was number one. So I have like a 4-way tie, and I'm gonna give them to you in backwards order. So Mim's episode is kind of like ranked pretty high because she put us onto Rebel Base and ISP Magazine and those folks that have a platform for business content creation and strategy, right? So that was a good lead. That was our lead generation through Mim. Shout out to Mim Plavin. So that was kind of high up there, and she told us about folks that don't have cyber strategy included in that platform and all the work she did.
right?
Working back from that episode, so just give me a sec. I think it was Dr. Lisa too. Dr. Lisa was number 2 because she balanced us out. She told us that we have a good energy, that we work off of each other's content, that we work off of each other's personalities very well, and that we should continue going. So I remember that was in the episode. And then Tony Owens, shout out to Tony. Tony told us to finally step our game up and get on YouTube.
Yeah.
So she was very aware and very, I guess she saw it before we did, what kind of content we're creating, the access to us, the access to industry, the feedback, like you said, that we should be taking.
She's a doctor now, by the way.
Well, Dr. Owens, absolutely. She did it.
She got it. She finished.
That's it. So Dr. Owens, shout out to you. Keep thriving and surviving. Thank you for your feedback. Hope to have you back. And then Tammy Allen. So I worked with Tammy at a previous employer. Tammy was watching her episode now. It kind of unpacked a lot of my hustle and things I had to do. Her hustle too, her access to content. Her personality was very energetic. So there was a lot. There's like a 4-way tie between those because that was I can point at those episodes and this is how we got better. This is what we had to do, dial back on. This is what we needed to be accessible on YouTube and other platforms. And then, there are other folks that are interested in our strategy with Mims, Mims episode, sealing it off. And those ebbs and flows. Now, in between, I'm not going to say all the other guests weren't amazing, but those were the spikes that, and like, how does it say in Leave the World Behind? Those were the trends and data that we could actually see.
I mean, but it's your list. I'm asking you, what is your,
Yeah, those are the 4 that I could kind of say, working the market research now that we're doing, listening to the comments, listening to our analytics on the platform. Those are the 4 that I could kind of say they really energized me in season 1 for sure.
So for me, I guess if we're going to maintain the 4, I guess top 4. Number 1 that could come to mind for me was, I think it was episode 5, Valina Pinnock.
Yeah, Valina.
Honoring my Jamaican roots. I thought that episode taught me a lot. Just learning more. Well, learning about Jamaica cybersecurity. Period. Because you just don't hear about that here in the States at all.
Right.
I mean, you hear about Jamaica, but not about cybersecurity. You don't put Jamaica and cyber in the same sentence
I
too
didn't.
often here.
Yeah.
So for her to come on and she has such an amazing story, just how she got started. She almost didn't follow through with it. So I'm glad she did because no, the second time around she really started killing it. I remember even when I was reading her intro when we had her on, like she just had like a whole laundry list of certs. So yeah, I definitely see her being a really great leader in this industry, and I like her focus, her drive, and again, yeah, when we had her on, I learned a lot. Be able to sit back and just listen to her, just talk about the things that are happening with in Jamaica as it pertains to cybersecurity. I thought that was actually very educational, to be honest with you. So that was one of the episodes I really enjoyed. Number two would be Dexter Henry
Oh
because
yeah.
that was the
Yeah, buddy.
really first episode that we had that got away from, or I guess that didn't. Well, he wasn't the first because I know our very first episode without Chris Rogers.
Mhm.
Well, and she was promoting the mouth grill. So yeah, so
Right.
she was the first one that didn't have that cyber background, but was able to come on and share. But yeah, but when we had Dexter on, that was that was a real fun episode. I mean, I even had my family, they sent in questions because we was able to talk in a little bit of Nick's, so he's actually able to take some Nick's questions during the show. I mean, it was a real lot of fun, and we were still able to tie in. I think that was like maybe that was our response from Chris Rogers, to be honest with you,
Right. Yep. I
because
remember that.
we're
Yep.
able to tie. So in this situation again, when we have someone that didn't have that cyber background, how do we make that tie? How do we still send it back to cyber security?
Actually, he's the one that made the tie back. I remember what you're talking about now. So he was
Mhm.
the first one to say, "Hey, I never thought I would be on a cybersecurity podcast. Did you look at this? Did you look at the access and the play ahead of? I'll say it right now, ahead of industry stories saying there's cybersecurity issues with player data. So for
Yeah,
us, that was like, oh, this is real. And then he made the connection. So where we usually did the market research, he did it for us. He kind of was like, yeah, you know what? I never thought I'll be on a cybersecurity podcast, but you
yeah.
should look out for this. You should look out for the stadium data, the player data, the PII of family members. He laid it out for us in that episode. So I'm right there with you. And now Christina did too. But this was the linking, but I think it was like you said, it was the linking point between both episodes that we didn't have initially.
I think we definitely learned a lot from that first episode, and when we got into that situation again, now with Dexter, again, someone who doesn't have a primarily a cybersecurity background, how do we keep everyone engaged in the episode
Right.
and to
We had to
have that
learn that.
conversation? Because and if you remember the first episode, we started off with just me and you, and then Chris was kind of like,
Uh,
because she couldn't really contribute. So but again, that's part
she
of the
did.
learning.
We got to put the edits up. She did tell us. She did tell us about her e-commerce experience. We didn't. Which I watching it again.
Yeah.
I forgot. I think it was Spotify. No, excuse me, Shopify. She told us of that experience that we should probably put back out that she had and how she wasn't cognizant of cybersecurity because she could rely on Spotify. But we didn't put that. Looking at the episode again, I don't think that made the cut. Right. So that's why. Right. Getting better editing, engaging engaging the listeners like we're trying to do now. We didn't have that hindsight with Christina's episode to put it in and keep it edited and recorded. Right. So we got better from that episode to Dexter's to make
Oh
sure
yeah.
that we highlight the problems that they're dealing with in cybersecurity. Right. From
I
there, from
I think from that first episode, we had a lot of bloopers from that first one
oh
too.
man, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We were so well, let's be real. I'm gonna be real. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I was too, man. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I mean, you think about it. First time you're really going live, and you throwing your headset on, and you
Mm.
speaking to the world. Yeah, it is. There is some nerves. There's nerves for sure. I was
Yeah.
definitely nervous as well. But
And
yeah,
talking
but
to a
I think
founder wasn't easy either. She was a founder. Like,
yeah,
what did she say? She said she wanted to see she saw a change in the world, so she had to create it. I was like, what? I think you was catching the blooper. I was like, wow, that
Yeah.
made me even more nervous.
So number three would be Bandana Core
Right,
when we had her on and she did the lab for us. I think it was just amazing. 16. I think actually she just had a birthday, so she's 17 now. But yeah, I mean, just someone young and energetic, that's really loving the world of cybersecurity, and I thought it was just great to have her on to be able to show like those her peers to say, hey, this is something that we can get into, still have fun
right.
and have fun, in cybersecurity, especially with a focus in hacking. And you could tell like she really enjoyed what she was doing, and yeah, so for her to have that special episode where she was able to do that demo for us, I thought that was really cool. So I definitely I enjoyed that episode quite a bit.
Wasn't she teetering with the bug bounty stuff too? I think she landed the Microsoft thing she was talking about on the episode. Remember, she was saying she was going to her school and she was trying to land researcher at Microsoft.
I believe so. Yeah.
Nice. So she did that. She landed that thing too.
And I'll say the last one for me would probably have to be the Mims episode. It's
Nice.
probably like the most fun I had. Like she was really funny. Because I mean we made the short about the her instrument of choice.
Mandolin? What was
Yeah,
it
the
called?
mandolin.
Oh my god! Yeah, yeah. Hey, don't let me find one. Don't let me find one. And I'll take yeah. That was really fun. And and
That
and then
was hilarious.
it was. And then she had the trash cookie plate.
Yeah. Nah.
Now, so wait a minute though. So okay, that lines up. What? How do we want to try to like follow up, or like how do we re-engage like some of that energy in the second season? Like, what is some of your thoughts on that? Like, because I feel like those episodes are like the pivotal points, but I want to keep it going. I want to keep that same energy and excitement going forward.
Right. No, I hear you. Yeah. So I mean, so as we're talking about, yeah, so starting up season 2 this month. So just so looking back at from season 1, and then as we're gearing up now for season 2, I think what what really helped was that we were able to to really tap into, of course we were able to touch on the issues that, for one, just learning about our guests background, what they do, and what they specialize in and things like that. But also once we really touched, we're able to talk about the thing that they like to do outside of the cyber world. I think that's when we really saw like those real organic conversations really come through,
Yeah,
and we're able to really have a lot of fun, with our guests, and be able to get more from them, as far as, like I said, just learn more about them. I mean, because yes, it's not to put down like anyone's profession, what they do, but then I think it's also a treat where you're able to learn about someone, what they like to do outside of that. Like what are some of the things they maybe like to do for fun and things of that nature, and what are some of the things that they may be into. I like, even as you mentioned, I think our last episode with Kenneth Ellington, and he was just telling us about his anime collection,
yeah,
and this, well, not collection, but what he likes, the shows he likes to watch when it comes pertains to anime and things of that nature. And so I mean, it's just stuff like that, man. It's kind of just making sure we're still touching on that human side of folks. Yes, we all working and we're studying and this and that, and we're trying to reach to the heights that we want to reach to, but also what you like to do in your downtime too. So I
yeah.
think that's important. And even I know it's probably number 5, but still trying to stay focused here with season 2. But it just made that episode so important with Dr. Holiday Bell, when she talked about sleep and be able to just have that time to break, make sure you have that separation from work, and making sure you are taking care of your body when it pertains to sleep. So that was one of very, I enjoyed that as well. That was very, I'd say, another educational episode, when we
Confession
had her on.
time. Confession time. We should probably have her back on because honestly, I missed that episode. I regret it a lot. I regret not being able to partake in it, but also I purchased her book. And so I
Mm,
haven't started reading her book, going back to our interest in the list and stuff. But I think we should have her back on because to your point, it was a breather, not focusing on cybersecurity so much, right? It also
Right.
allowed us to breathe and relax and say, well, let's listen to the problems they may have in the industry related to cyber, but also completely not related, right? Like something that we didn't know. So that allowed us to relax and chill and breathe and rest easy. Like we don't have to keep grinding up against this issue in cyber every time, right? Which we created the podcast. Remember, like so we were kind of like, yo, we're tired of hearing the same newscastings and the gloom and
Right.
doom of
Yeah. Right.
cybersecurity breaches, right? Let's focus in on something else and take a breather for a second and make it, like you said, relaxed, easy, from a completely different industry. So I think we could probably try to do that or do something aligned to it because I really feel like that burnout was real around that episode 2 for us. Like we were grinding, we were editing, working, and then it comes into reality like you need to give yourself the peace and rest. So I think
Oh
we should
yeah.
probably tie another episode into that as well.
Yeah. Um. No, but yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think even just when we talk about for season 2, like having like those, I'd say I kind of call those like bonus episodes where again, where yeah, it may not be primarily in cybersecurity, but they're still adding value. We're still able to pick up and learn valuable things from them, from our guests. So those are maybe probably one of the things that I'm looking forward to. But also too with those who are specializing within the industry, be able to just really have those conversations and learn, just really engage and learn about like what they have going on, and um what are the things that maybe that they could be looking at, maybe some trends that they could probably share with us and things of that nature. I think that's the exciting part of it, when each guest is always is something different. We're able to learn a different element. It could be whether in cybersecurity or not. We're able to just learn something new from each person, from each guest. So that's probably one of the things I'm definitely looking forward to once we really get ramped up here in season 2.
I'm gonna be realistic with myself too. A goal, and it's a little bit of a reach. I want to actually hear from specialty coffee owners. So we talked about this offline, reconnecting for this season. I want to build like this organization where we listen to other coffee founders, much like Christina in our first episode, that went out and build specialty coffee shops, not Starbucks and Pete's and all that, like
Hmm.
the local, brewery, right? And then they teach us problems about cyber that they have. So we talked about it a little bit on the coffee table talk episode.
Coffee table talk, yeah.
But I'm gonna bring it back here to say, like, I want to hear from them because I honestly, like, as much as we like coffee and it's in our name and everything, I honestly want to hear from them, like, what pain points they have in a shop, downtown, anywhere. Doesn't matter, East Coast, West Coast, middle of the country, even in Europe. But how does it tie to their cybersecurity need, right? Or not? Some of these folks, like, I joke with our consultant offline. They say they just touch grass. They don't talk about technology. They don't ever come back and say, "Is my shop secure?" Right. So my one aspiration I would like from at least season 2 or somewhere through the middle is to actually get a especially coffee owner on and do the same format, be real chill, be high energetic, and then learn something from them that we didn't know about cyber and their cyber protection too.
I think that's a great point. Because, and I think that would apply even for those outside of the coffee industry, just like those who have maybe small businesses and they don't
Yeah.
have that primary focus of cybersecurity, and maybe they do need help when it comes to that, because that's just not their forte. They may specialize in whatever it is that their business model is set on, but if it's not including cybersecurity is going to be the last thing on their priority list.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that also too can contribute to where you see some businesses are vulnerable to being hacked or being compromised. So yeah, no, I agree. I think that's something we could definitely um, specialize in, have that sort of focus on when we go into season 2.
100%. Hmm.
Yeah, because I'm sure. Yeah, so for this example, coffee shops, of course, they're going to focus on making the coffee, but how is the cybersecurity posture?
at all the
especially if they're
different
trying to
things.
expand their business, if they want to like sell merch and things of that nature, or just even doing things like administrative things. It doesn't have to be about that. Just, handling payroll, taxes, whatever it is that we have to touch the internet. How is the cybersecurity posture? So yes, I mean that's definitely. I think that's great. Some conversations that we could have and really just learn about those type of things and see how we could definitely help bring some of those issues, bring attention to some of those issues.
Yeah, we kind of did that offline, and in the back of the show, we probably can make a slot to do what we just did, like talk to it, like, hey, we're looking for you folks in that industry, or the listeners. Hey, right now, listeners, if you know any folks, have them hit us
Yeah,
up on LinkedIn or have us hit up, contact at cybercoffeehour.org.
right.
Yeah, look at that, it was that easy.
So as we get ready to wrap up, but before we do, probably big announcement that we want to share is that as we ended season one, we're able to become syndicated. We're now a syndicated podcast through
Those
the
tails.
Alive Podcast Network. So shout out to our boss, Miss Angel Leave uh, was able to. We had a shared vision. She definitely loves the work that we're doing, and especially as Black creators, Black content creators, she really saw value in the Cyber Coffee Hour, and we're part of the Alive Podcast team. So yeah, so again, and also as that's something new you'll see as we go on to season two. You may see some messaging be a little different. Some promotions going to be a little different as we include as we're part now of that podcast network. So, and you may see we may do some episodes with some of our fellow teammates, our new teammates now
Yep, yep.
in the networks, doing some cross promotions and things of that nature. So yeah, it should be exciting, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. One piece that we're going to see too, you're going to see us on more platforms available to the Live network. So
Right.
something we had to learn was how to syndicate through other platforms like Anchor and the common streaming tools. Well, now we partner with the network and they accept sending us to other platforms we weren't on before. So that was a huge value add as well. So
Oh yeah.
as we go along, you'll see some of those platforms. I think we talked about Twitch, right? A lot of things are available to them that we weren't really not really aware to do, but what really weren't positioned to set up on our own.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to share with the listeners the absolute hell we went through just trying to get onto.
Yeah. So yeah, let's bring some light to it. So we didn't. I'm not gonna say we learned by doing, right? We learned that
Yeah.
there were integration issues with Apple Podcasts. Google shut down. Remember that? So Google went to YouTube. That
Yeah.
was a big thing for us. The hell with that and the workspace management there. That was pretty troublesome. We can also speak to now Riverside, right? So we had issues with Riverside initially. Editing, going live was a concern that we had. I mean, so for our listeners too, we actually manage a storyboard now too. We didn't have that in the beginning, but we check these boxes and say, how do we get around the platform that we're on? So now because we did that kind of ahead of time, we can rely on a live network to give us a little bit of muscle and get us
Right.
out there and syndicated. And, so it's not that much sleepless nights dealing with some of the integrations, like you said. One thing we didn't consider too is that we might do the Amazon Music, right? So we had that doubt, fear,
Yeah.
uncertainty, and doubt. Like, hey, do they have podcasts on Amazon Music? Should we be there? Well, that's taken care of for us.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean YouTube, of course, right? We're on YouTube. Thank you again, Tony, Dr. Owens. Gotta
Yeah.
get that right. Thank you again, Dr. Owens. But there was, keeping up with the comments was a little tough. Keeping up with the analytics was tough. So now we get assistance with that. And then of course Spotify, right? So Spotify is syndicated out through all the platforms that we just mentioned, and we get a little assistance from Alive in doing that. So it's pretty good. It's pretty humbling too.
Yeah, man. It should be great, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah. So you were able to hear the Cyber Coffee Hour, pretty much your podcasting app preference, I guess.
I mean, there's so many, right? Oh, Podcast Addict. That's another one that's out
Yeah.
there. So we didn't think of that. Yeah, there's so many now.
Yeah.
So
We're going to be available on a lot of outlets now
right.
through Alive. So again, thank you to the Live Podcast Network for reaching out to us, believing in us, and now we're going to do some great work as we start season 2. But yeah, man, I think that's about it, man.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's a great update to share with our listeners, and yeah, we're getting ready to go with season 2. We're getting started. So I don't know, Alfredzo, if you want to share any last words before we sign off.
Yeah, continue to like to subscribe. Follow us now, syndicated by the Live Network, and we're easily accessible. So follow us on the same usual platforms. Reach out to us on LinkedIn if you're there, and then if you have any opportunities to want to get on and do a pod with us, just reach out and let us know.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, thank you all for joining us for another episode, Cyber Coffee Hour, now season 2. Now, Cyber Coffee are part of the Alive Podcast Network. So if you enjoyed this episode, explore more engaging content in the Alive Podcast Network app. So by supporting this podcast and nearly 100 other Black hosted shows, you can enjoy ad-free listening while contributing to a diverse range of voices in the podcasting space. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more insightful conversations with you in our next episode. So until then, keep brewing those ideas and stay curious about cybersecurity. All right, that's it. It's a wrap. We out of here. Peace.